Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the new episode of Level 1 Sidekicks. My name is Tigo.
My name's John.
Lots of things happened this past week.
Oh, it's quite a lot of stuff. We had so much stuff we wanted to talk about. We had to cut out like half of the stuff.
Yeah, just because it would be like a 9-hour episode.
Overwhelming,
Yeah,
you know.
and no one wants to listen to us talk for 9 hours.
Yeah.
There was hardware news, software news, movie news, news. Man, so many things have dropped,
And so much interesting things that I'm like so sad that we can't talk about, but we just cut it down to the essential since E3 is gaming. We're just gonna keep it gaming and movie, TV kind of stuff,
Dude,
entertainment.
especially because, and there's something that I wanted to talk about. I didn't even add to the list, which is Phase 4 and 5.
Oh
Because,
yeah,
dude, there's
the Marvel. There's so much possibility to that.
It's not just possibilities. We got confirmations. Kevin Feige has come out and confirmed a lot of information, and E3 is 3 weeks away, and I gotta come out and say it.
And they already got the schedule out.
Dude, the schedule's out. It looks incredible, and I've got to admit it. I was wrong.
He was wrong.
Sony is not gonna be at E3, and that blows my mind.
And I feel like the reason they did that is because they're gradually announcing the things they will naturally announce in E3. Like they announced that they're going to be Ryzen. They're going to release sometime after Ryzen processor does release.
But I don't think it's that, man. I don't know. I think that this is the start of the death of E3. Because here's my thing, right? I think it was last year Sony did a presentation around the same time as E3, but they did it in New York. But they were still at E3 because at E3 they rented out 2 full conventions, like the halls, just for PlayStation stuff. And now that they don't, like E3, they still rented out that space. They had to find new people to fill it. And it's kind of weird for E3. I think it gives Microsoft a big jump, like in the public eye, personally.
What do you mean by a big jump?
So, we know what's going to come out. Not that we know, but we know we're getting announcements.
Yeah,
we don't know with PlayStation. We don't even have a PlayStation 5 confirmed.
We know
at all.
All we know is a next gen.
We're eventually getting a
PlayStation
next
coming
gen.
out.
Eventually, we're getting a next gen, but we're not even sure it's PlayStation 5.
I know it could be a PS4 Ultra.
I was literally gonna say PS4 Ultra, but that's my thing. But we know we're getting a new. Okay, we have the names for the projects. There's 2 project names. I forget what they're called.
Or something?
No, I don't.
It's
I
something
don't
with an
remember.
A.
I don't remember it being an A. I remember it being a T and an R. Does not matter.
Well.
But we have these 2 project code names. They're called Xbox something and Xbox something. And they've confirmed it's next gen. And we know what games are coming out next gen too. So we have confirmed Gears of War 5. And they've confirmed that they're doing cross-platform play with Gears of War 5.
Which is really big news.
That's huge. Cross-platform from PC to Xbox.
And they're doing this with many games. And it's just
And the one that gets you that should get you excited is Halo 5. They confirmed it. Halo 5
is it going to be partial cross-platform or full cross-platform?
Cross-platform.
So it's going to also be available on PS4?
It's going to be, no.
So that's partial.
No, because cross-platform does not, cross-platform is cross-platform.
All platforms.
No,
Partial is when it limits at least some of them.
No, I think of it as differently. I think cross-platform is when you can play with another platform entirely, and partial cross-platform is certain
depending
aspects.
On the person on how they define it.
100%, I agree. But what I think when I think partial cross-platform is there are certain games that only have certain aspects and certain
you can
modes.
only play campaigns together online.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where you can't play multiplayer or things like that. Where Halo 5, they've come out and they've said that it's going to be PC focused.
Oh, that's going to be great.
They're going to have a big focus on PC gaming. They're trying to bring that back. They're going to have a huge focus on esports, which I think is very, very smart. They're going to have the customizability that you had back in Reach, which is incredible.
Reach was a fun game.
Not
people
just
don't like it. I don't know why.
Well, it was a different game, and it was the first.
I feel like
it
they
was the
just
first
hated
Halo.
it because it was in Master Chief.
No, it was the first Halo to truly change the mechanics of Halo. You know what I'm saying? It was the first Halo with a sprint. We never had sprint before. Because you can't count ODST. ODST was only single player. Fantastic. I know you haven't played it. You should play it. I love that story. But Reach was the first game that kind of brought us into that, hey, this is kind of Call of Duty-esque. You know what I'm saying? It got it out of that. This is just this guy that's walking through the battlefield to this guy who can now sprint and stuff, and it made it a little bit more Call of Duty-esque.
You gotta understand the armor. You know, it's way too heavy to run.
No, like you can come up with all the myth and the lore, but I think that's what changed it. Halo had such a diehard fan base in the same way that Gears of War had a diehard fan base and Call of Duty had a diehard fan base, and they did not cross-contaminate. Like, if you liked Halo, you didn't like Call of Duty, you didn't like Gears. But if you like Gears, you didn't like Call of Duty, you didn't like Halo. If you liked Halo, you didn't like Gears, you didn't like COD. Like, they had their own set-in-stone communities. But as Call of Duty went into jetpacks, we got that a lot more Halo players coming into Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And as Halo went more Call of Duty, you got a lot more Call of Duty players. Halo 5 was the first Halo that really got me excited about it. Because it was really close and similar to what I gotten used to with Call of Duty. I was a Call of Duty player. And so, Halo 5, I think that's really exciting. Because you might
Including says they're going to announce an E3. Oh my gosh, I hope they get a release date.
They've confirmed we're getting release date.
Oh, we're getting release date.
I think if I've read correctly, I read the article a couple days ago. I should have saved it. I'm sorry I didn't. But I'm pretty sure we're getting a full trailer. We're getting a full trailer, and I think we're getting a release date to coincide with the release date of the new console. So I think E3 for Xbox is going to be, here's the new console, Xbox Super Sega Awesome
Super
Cube.
Saiyan Xbox. I literally thought you were going to say Super Saiyan.
Super Sega Cube Advanced. Just taking all of the old consoles and putting them in one SP.
Oh. Just like the Switch, right?
But I think we're getting that in there. So I think their order goes, here's the new game. Here's Gears of War 5. Here's Halo 5. Here's other game IPs that I forget right now because they're not as important. Here's other game IP that I forget because it's not that important. Oh, hey, all of this is coming out on the new next-gen console. And then, at the end of the presentation, boom, here's the new next-gen console.
And, I think next week? Next week. They're going to release the Smash update 6.1, I believe.
Dang, they're already on 6 updates on Smash?
I don't know. I'm just making up a number. Anyways, they're going to release an update, which I believe is mainly focused for the Smash tournament they're going to have at E3.
So yeah, they're bringing the Nintendo World Championships. I think that's what they call it. They're bringing it to E3, and that's like the first part of their schedule. Like
Ultimate World Champion, yes.
The Ultimate World Champion. No, but the whole thing, because they also have Pokemon, they have Smash,
Splatoon,
they have Splatoon,
Super Mario.
They have a Super Mario one?
Super Mario Maker 2 Invitational.
Okay, so that's just the announced. I know what that is. It's kind of like a speed run with blind levels. It's really, really cool. Like, if you have a chance, I would recommend watching the AGDQ or SGDQ Super Mario Maker races. They're super fun to watch. And it's just because they're pulling off like these insane, crazy Mario tricks that like you don't expect to see. It's really, really fun. But that's another thing that's really, really exciting is the Nintendo announcements, because we're getting our smaller version of the Nintendo Switch announcement.
Oh, yes.
And we're getting the new
more powerful
the version. Switch Pro or whatever they're calling it announcement. And that's including new releases and things like that.
As well as the market sale value.
The what?
MSRP or something like that.
MSRP?
There we go.
Oh, yeah, what they're going to sell for.
Market sale price, yeah.
So that's like it's manufacturers retail sale price.
Yeah.
Manufacturers.
MSR.
Who gives a crap, man? Because the thing is, manufacturers.
All we know is
recommended. It should be MRSP.
It's recommended.
I know it's recommended. I know it's sale, and I know it's price. I don't know in what order. Why are we stuck on this?
There, yeah.
But
we digress.
But we're gonna get a lot of new things for the Switch, and I think a big announcement would be a lot of AAA titles. I think we're gonna get an announcement for AAA titles.
And one of them is probably gonna be Death Stranding.
No, that's a PlayStation 4 exclusive.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about like as an announcement, like the release date.
Dude, who knows, bro? It's Sony. They're not gonna be at E3. That'd be the perfect time to do it.
I know, right? Oh,
like,
it is Sony, isn't it?
It is. It's a Sony exclusive. Like, it's the same. I think it's the same people that make.
Death Stranding is killing a lot of people.
I think it's the team that did. Man, what's Lara Croft, but for Sony?
Tom
the
Clancy?
guy. What?
Tom Clancy?
No, not Tom Clancy.
Tom Clancy's,
Tomb Raider, but for Uncharted. There it is.
Uncharted.
I think it's the same team that's doing Death Stranding. No, it's Kojima. It's the guys who make Metal Gear.
Yeah,
Kojima,
that's it. That's Metal Gear.
Kojima's making it for... It's Sony. It's a Sony exclusive. And can we just get a release? Can we just get a trailer? Not this, hey, here's a teaser.
After teaser.
Here's a teaser for the trailer that's coming out eventually.
The best we got was like a gameplay, which was him walking the entire time.
Yeah, butt-ass naked with a baby.
But
that happened
like 2
E3 ago. That happened like 5,000 E3 ago. It might have been last year, but in gaming world, like that's like 1,000,000 years ago. Man, it's just one of those things where, like, can you just give us info? Like, why did you not go to E3? And if you're not going to go to E3, great. Have a presentation on one of those days. Like, you have a theater that's literally named after you in New York. It's literally called the Sony Theater. Yeah, they also have one in Toronto. I'm pretty sure it's called the Sony, like, Master Theater. I don't know. They literally have 2 theaters named after them in 2 major cities in North America. Not even in the U.S., in North America. They've got them in 2 countries. Can you just schedule something so we can watch? Like, I'm excited. I want to know what Sony is going to do. Like, I'm really excited at what Sony's going to do because I think the Microsoft announcement is so big. There's so many things slated there. What is Sony going to do to compete with it? Like, dude, I think they blew their horn. Okay, we're going to get a Last of Us 2 release date. We're supposed to. We're supposed to get a Last of Us 2 release date soon. We're supposed to get, like, a Death Stranding release date soon. There's another game that I can't remember the title, but it's supposed to be a AAA title. We're supposed to get the release date soon. And it's just like, okay, what's soon? I know when to expect. Like, you can put it on your calendar. Here's the day to ask off or call off from work because the Microsoft releases at this time. And I need to make sure I can watch the whole 2-hour presentation or however long it's going to be. And it's just like, you can't do that with Sony right now because you just don't know what's coming.
Well, Nintendo's also released news on their live stream that they're going to perform.
Isn't it called isn't there a thing called the Treehouse or something?
It's
Nintendo Treehouse.
Yeah, I think that's something like that. Well, it's going to be like June 5th. They're going to announce the Sword and Shield gameplay and all the more information about it.
Which is, before we get into Sword and Shield, I did want to touch it about really briefly because Sword and Shield, that's a big deal.
It is. For the next gen Pokemon game.
Yeah,
and
like, it's a big deal. But I want to talk about something that's a little bit less of a big deal.
What is?
Which is Crypt of the Necrodancer doing a Legend of Zelda spinoff. So for those of you who don't know, Crypt of the Necrodancer is a fantastic roguelike game. And if you don't know essentially what roguelike games, I'm going to give you a horrible explanation. It's where you get like a hero and you go through, and then if you die, that's it. You just start over from the first level and you keep going.
Essentially, you have one life.
Yeah, essentially. And there is a game, like you can beat it, but it's just all depending on how you play it. But there's some roguelikes where, like, you keep traits over generations, so that's how they play it. So, like, in your first generation, you have 0 power-ups, but as you go through the game,
like
not keep powers, but you can add powers to your next generation, and so until you eventually beat, like, the whatever it is, which I think is pretty interesting. A couple of roguelikes that I really enjoy are, like, Binding of Isaac. I love the Binding of Isaac games. They're on the Switch now.
The original NES for Zelda.
Yeah, kind of, I guess.
It was roguelike. Yeah, like you essentially only had one life.
But you could respawn.
No, the original one I was playing it the other day. You die.
Oh, is it? I don't remember playing it. It's been forever since I played the original.
It was so weird. It's like you could throw the sword if you have full HP.
Well, yeah, but that's every Zelda game has that. If you have full HP, the Master Sword throws a boomerang type-esque projectile forward. That's been there forever. But yeah, Crypt of the Necrodancer, really, really interesting because we're getting a Hyrule spin-off. What is it?
And that's why I mentioned Zelda earlier.
Hyrule Cadence?
Hyrule Cadence, yes.
No, it's the Cadence of Hyrule is what it's called.
Cadence of Hyrule.
Cadence of Hyrule, which I think is really, really cool. Like, I'm excited. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, it's coming out next week, actually.
Yeah, like, I'm going to buy
Switch?
it, which is going to be awesome because it's like, I already love Legend of Zelda.
So
it's like my favorite
I
IP.
don't know anything about Crypt of the Necrodancer. Do you need to listen to sound?
Well, yes and no. I think in the original, I haven't played the original, but I think in the original there's like yes, that's the answer. You don't have to, but if you're playing that game and not listening to the music, like, what are you doing?
Well, I generally don't listen to the sound.
Well,
I like
that's
to
a
play my own
mistake.
podcast, and I'm like
That's
my
a
own
mistake.
thing in the background.
First, like there's teams of people that get paid millions of dollars to produce the
Compose
sound,
on a song,
not just compose, but to make the sounds and the things that you experience in games. Like if I play a new game, like that's why we have these expensive headsets, is not to put things over. Like if I'm playing a game for the first time, I'm playing the game full volume, like bursting my eardrums because I want to hear every single detail. When there's a jump scare, I want to be scared, and like. That's like kind of where I'm at with it. But Crypt of the Necrodancer, yes, play it with sound on. But it's, again, so the idea is you jump from square to square in the game, but to the beat of the music. So there are certain, like, as you get deeper, there are certain songs that the tempo changes.
Sporadically, right?
Well, yeah, not sporadically. It's to a beat, but the tempo changes. So instead of jump,
Oh,
jump,
so it starts
jump,
getting faster,
jump,
faster,
jump,
faster.
jump, 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 jump.
Oh.
And so it's kind of like that. And as you progress in the levels, you get different music. And that's where it gets fun, is because you never know what the next level song is going to be. And so you have to hear, like, you have to immediately hear it and know what the beat is and tap along to it. And so it's a cool game because it meshes your hand-eye coordination in the sense of being able to see what's going on the screen and react to it, but also your your audio interpretation, and so you've got to do all of that at the same time. It's a game that really uses all of your senses in like playing it.
Except sense of taste.
No, even the sense of taste, because when you win, the game gives you a cheeseburger, and that's the incentive to win, right? But I'm excited for it, honestly.
It does sound interesting. A unique game.
I remember watching Crypt of the Necrodancer streams. Like, I watched them a lot, and I had them on in the background while I would do other games. Because, one, the music is incredible. Like, it's on my Spotify. Like, I have Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Just talking about the music, it's actually, like, the
yeah,
Hyrule...
it's 8-bit versions of the Hyrule music. So, it's, like, incredible. But, like, from all of the games. So, we might have, like, the Wind Waker song in there. Or the Ocarina of Time song.
And for Legend of Zelda fans, that's going to be a big thing.
Yeah, because you're just going to sit there and be like, oh, that's the Deku Tree song. And you can like dance along. Like, I know I'm gonna be excited, especially because like I'm gonna sit there and try to figure out which games they came from. Like, oh wait, I know this song. This is Twilight Princess, or this is.
It's like a little mini game inside
Four
the game.
Swords. Exactly. I think it's really really cool, and I just wanted to bring that up really quickly. Sword and Shield is what it's called.
Yeah, Sword and Shield. Yes.
Take over.
Oh, I pretty much already announced everything that I was gonna say. They are gonna announce a little details about the game. They show some gameplay in the live stream.
But that's coming at E3.
Yeah, no, that's coming out June 5th.
Okay.
Which
Isn't
is not
June 5th? Isn't it right around E3?
It's around E3, but I don't think it is E3.
Whatever. So it's right around E3. Let's just say it's somewhere in that E3 time space. They're gonna have, but where is Sword and Shield gonna be playable? Is it Switch? Is it coming on Switch?
It's gonna come out on the Switch. It's gonna be the next console. It's gonna.
But is it also coming on the 3DS?
From what I heard about Sword and Shield, it's actually like a war between continents.
Okay, but that's a great story, if that's true, because that obviously changes it. Because what was the last one called again? Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon.
No.
No. Yeah, Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon. Like that one was interesting. You're on an island, right?
You're on a vacation island.
Yeah.
It has a completely different system of
yeah, because
gym
it's not
leaders.
like it's not like gyms or anything, right? It's just like leaders of the islands.
Yeah, the leader of the islands.
So it's pretty interesting, and that's saying like that was the first game. I didn't play it, but I heard great things because now you finally change it up.
And then it came out with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which was really a letdown.
Well, I think that was to kind of try to. I think when they came up with that idea, it was around the time when Pokemon Go came out.
Oh,
and it
on
had
the subject
all
of
that
Pokemon Go,
hype.
before I forget, did you hear about what happened in Brazil?
I did not hear about anything with Pokemon Go because it's not relevant.
I thought it was really interesting, and I think you might actually like this. Someone in Brazil rent out two theaters, the entire theater, for one night.
Okay.
And he invited all his Pokemon Go community of Brazil and his friends and family to watch the screening of Detective Pikachu.
That's awesome.
I know, right?
So like,
It's like
how do you organize something like that? Is like
it's like you had to go to the manager and you had to like.
Well, no,
how much
easy.
would it cost to rent it out?
That's easy. Like we
but
could
how
do
much
that now.
money would it cost?
Well, it depends on the theater. Like, for example, where we're at, if we were to go to an AMC theater, they'd be pretty expensive because we'd have to pay $11 a seat, right? Because that's all. Like that's it. Like if you just when the new release date comes out, you can just buy all the tickets. Like that's not hard. The real question is the money, because like we could do that with the West Orange 5.
Yeah.
Because it's a smaller theater, and they do that. They already like you can rent those things out. Like I had a buddy who he did his movie release there.
Did he?
He rented out one of the West Orange 5 theaters, and he debuted his movie there. Apparently, it only cost him a couple $100. He did a GoFundMe for the movie, and he got
People helped him in that.
Yeah, like it was a whole thing. Like it was a documentary series that he did about different. I don't remember, man. It was such a long time ago. But yeah, you can just rent out. Like renting out theaters isn't the hard part. The hard part is how do you get people to go? Like how do you organize something like that? Is it through a forum? Like I know you're on a. Is it through the Discord channel?
I assume it's like through the Discord channel. They like made a pamphlet. They just posted the pamphlet.
But
like
did people from around Brazil travel there, or was it just locally?
I believe it's probably like people around Brazil probably traveled there when they heard the news. It's like, hey, it's a free ticket. It's like, why would I go?
Well, because if it's $30 to just drive there, because gas, right?
Yeah.
No, but I think that's a really, really cool thing. That's a really, really cool thing. Like I'd love to do that.
And if they like got sponsored by Niantic, it would have made like a huge thing. But Niantic really doesn't go into that unless you like.
I don't think, dude. I think that's a huge problem with Pokemon Go. Is like, where's the community involvement?
I feel like there's like little to no community involvement.
Like you need a community manager.
It's
like and if you have one, fire them and get a better one.
It's like they have Reddit, the Silph Road, which is like the huge Pokemon information database. But
called the Silk Road.
The Silph Road, SILPH, Silph.
Silph.
Yeah, like it's like there's like a huge like tale behind it, but whatever.
Whatever.
Anyways, it's like where all the information and all the research is done about Pokemon Go.
Okay.
And then essentially, they're like they try reaching out to Niantic.
Silph Road. I'm sorry. Go continue.
They try reaching out to Niantic, like saying like we should partner up since we're such a big influence to the Pokemon Go community, but they never get a response back, and that's like gets people wondering. It's like, do they even like pay attention to us?
Like there was a job that I almost applied to with the gaming company, but the problem was that it's in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they want from a community, like a involved community manager is like, we want you on our forum, we want you on Twitter, we want you on Facebook, we want you on YouTube, we want you on every forum platform out there because we need you engaging with the community.
I feel like engaging in the community is such a huge thing.
That's a huge thing. Like, man, like what are you supposed to do there? Like, you have to engage with your community. Like, if you don't, you're giving up. Like, that's one of the reasons why, like, Apex, they're not engaging the community, and they've lost 75% of their revenue in the last 2 months. That's
yeah, people want more. And
keep your community engaged. Dude, why do you think Call of Duty does so well?
Because they listen to what they want.
It's not a great IP. I think it is, but objectively, it's not. Because I can objectively look at it and say this is not a great IP, but they keep their community involved. Every week there's a new skin.
And kind of like PUBG Mobile. Did you hear about PUBG, right?
Events. PUBG is doing the Godzilla event. Like, keep your community involved.
I know.
That's a huge thing. Apparently, you've told me this, but the Godzilla movie's getting like a bunch of rave about it.
Yeah, like people are really enjoying it from the premieres, and it's crazy. It's like I wouldn't think of that. It's like just reading those news like makes me want to go there and watch the movie itself.
Like, dude, like that's the thing that I think is incredible is you're getting a lot of this this acceptance from this stuff, and then what you're doing is you're partnering with these companies to have more community engagement. Like, why isn't Niantic doing this? Like, why don't you have partnered events? Why don't you have like a partnered event with like I don't care, like Marvel, Avengers, like you can't, you're telling me that we can't have a special Pikachu in a cape that's only available like at movies.
I know that would be pretty interesting.
Dude, like it's so easy. It's so easy to do to keep your community involved and keep them wanting to come back. Like they just released a new Pokemon, didn't they? I think. From what you were telling me.
A shiny Cressula. Basically, they already released the Cressula, but in the raids, you could actually get a shiny version of it, and they released it like.
See, I knew you were talking about something. I wasn't listening when you talked about it.
They released it Tuesday, so if you're interested in Pokemon Go, go join a local Discord group and catch that shiny Cressula, I guess.
Don't go play Pokemon Go. Don't reward them for not being involved with their community. But that's like one of those things where it's like, dude, you got to have community engagement. And I think this is a really, really weird transition. But I think this is a great transition because it shows where the community gets so involved that they cause major changes. I think you know where I'm going with this, but it's Sonic the Hedgehog, right? They release the poster, they release the trailer, they get such a huge backlash that they turn around and do what?
They go and alter how Sonic looks.
And then they look at the plan of it and they say, oh crap, so this is going to take a lot more work than we originally intended, and we're not going to release a bad movie, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to push it back 4 months.
They push it back from November 8th to February 14th.
Isn't that Valentine's Day?
Is it? I think it is.
Because my sister's birthday is February 15th, and that's Valentine's Day. Hey, babe, we're going on a date, and we're watching Sonic the Hedgehog on Valentine's Day. But it's just like that's
dedication. That's like feedback, like listening to the feedback.
That's community involvement.
It's like this. Sorry, fans. We know that you are anticipating this film, but we do want to tailor to your desires.
Tailor to your liking, man.
Exactly.
You told us. We listened. We adapted.
We altered it, but we saw that it wasn't great enough, and we could do better.
And that's my thing. Is like. Where is that's what you need nowadays is community involvement. I've been playing a lot of
like in the 21st century where everything's social
media runs everything, and I've been playing a lot of like indie kind of FPS PC games.
Yeah, well, I've noticed Battlescar.
Like so I've just been playing a bunch of different things just to kind of try to find something that like keeps me entertained. And I found like if I don't have just one IP, if I have like 4 or 5 games that I can play, like I can keep myself entertained. And that's kind of what I found myself doing is playing a bunch of these different games. And, like, that's my thing is like, some of these games are trying to actively keep you involved. They've got these Discord channels where you can talk to the devs. They're releasing new weekly updates on free-to-play games. Dude, free-to-play first-person shooters with new guns, new skins, new everything.
And like, that's what made Apex Legends, like, originally appealing. It was free-to-play.
Yeah, but you're telling me Apex Legends, with a team as big as they have, with Respawn having a team as big as they had, where they're delaying the release of the next Titanfall game.
And they are getting funded by loot boxes as well. They can't develop something that will make... You know.
Can't give me weekly updates? What? You can't... What? Dude, it's not that hard.
It isn't hard to like skin a gun with like Avengers theme on it.
Like, well, maybe you'd have to like. Yeah, but it doesn't even have to be Avengers themed. You could do superhero themed.
Superhero, yeah.
Like whatever, just have something to keep people involved. Man, we went back to Legend. What was it? Last night? 2 nights ago? No, it was last night.
What are we talking about?
Where we played Legends again, Apex again. Was it last
night?
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, it was last night.
Yeah, it was last night.
We played. I looked at John. I was like, John, you want to go play Apex Legends? And he goes, why do you want to play Legends? And I was like, that should not be the reaction.
That should not be the reaction. It should
the
be,
reaction
yeah,
should
let's
be
go.
Like, heck yeah, let's go play Apex Legends. And then we played, 2 games before we got bored?
And then we ended up playing Rainbow Six.
Yeah, like I got you into Rainbow Six, trying to start teaching you the ropes. And I was like, dude, I had way more fun doing that. One, because I'm kind of good at the game. I'm like average at the game, and you're not good at it because you don't play first-person shooters on PC.
My aim was excellent. I just had bad positioning, and I always
and map awareness. But again, it's
one
of those things that,
I literally
FPS
went up to a window and I looked into the camera, like with a window like point blank on me.
No. Here's what it is. He walked into a middle of a hallway, and there's a window with an enemy in it, right there. There's a hallway with an enemy in it right there. Like, there's literally... Oh, and I found out after the fact that there was an enemy behind us coming from the hallway behind us. So, I wanted to keep him alive so that he could just run into aim duels and get the headshots. And he did very, very well. That's not the problem. But he decided that I'm going to walk into the middle of this hallway in view of 3 enemies and just pull up my droid thing to look at the cameras to see if there's enemies. When I literally seconds before said, there's a guy in the window and there's a guy in the hallway. Look at the hallway. And he goes, camera. I'm like, John, what are you doing?
But on my defense, I did kill the enemy that he was talking about.
He did because I killed the guy in the window and kept you alive. Like, dude, there was like, but I think it comes from the fact that I think you played a lot more JRPGs.
Yes.
Than you did FPSs.
Yeah, JRPGs were my games.
I played FPSs. That's all I did. So I just have, I think, natural map awareness.
Yes.
Even if I don't know the map, I naturally know to go into a corner. I naturally know to hide behind something. I naturally know that, hey, I'm in the middle of a hallway. Someone can come from behind me. I either need to make sure my teammate is there or I need to GTFO. And you didn't have that. But all of this comes back to, I love Rainbow Six Siege. We should play some after this podcast, after we're done editing it. But great game. Community involvement. That's another thing. They have community involvement. I just think Niantic there's so much Niantic can learn from these other games. Like
there's so much gaming news going on. How do you think they will react to the tariff that's going on with China?
Well, Niantic doesn't have a problem with that because the phones, like, they'll just move to Korea. Like, okay, so for all of you that don't know, we're getting a 25% tariff on all imported.
It's not confirmed, but they are, like, talking about it. They had a meeting and everything about it.
Okay, so there's a meeting having that the proposed thing is to put a 25% tax on anything that comes in from China.
From China, yes.
Okay, and so the whole idea is to bring manufacturing back to the States.
Yes.
Which I think is stupid. I don't think manufacturing is the future. If China wants to have manufacturing, go ahead. I think the future is technology, and I think that's where we want to be, is in software development and things like that, and tech development. If China wants to make it cheaper, great. But that's getting way too political. But whatever.
And
so what that affects, though,
Hawaii's
gonna have a real, not just a hard time.
No, they're actually not. I think
they're going to have to revolutionize.
I actually read an article where it says the only problem that they're going to face is the Intel chips that they have on their
But don't they already make those in China?
No, it's Intel's a U.S.-based company.
Well, a lot of these companies are U.S.-based.
So
where do
like
they manufacture?
Every single parts of their components are they make themselves.
But in the U.S.?
No, in China.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
They make everything except the chip in China.
Intel or Huawei?
Intel. Huawei makes all their parts except the Intel chip.
But the Intel chip is made in China.
Is it?
Yeah, they're not U.S. They're U.S.-based company, but that doesn't mean crap. Microsoft's also a
but
U.S.-based
from
company.
what I read from the article, it's just like they announced that the only problem will be the Intel chips, and they already have the operating system because we talked about it last.
Yeah, they've been working on their own operating system for the longest time because they predicted that this was gonna happen.
Predicted for they've been working for 3 years, and the only reason they haven't released it is because they want to keep their relationship up with Google.
Yeah, it's a good relationship to have.
And since the relationship's already destroyed, they're going to release it next month.
But what does that do for Huawei's thing like worldwide? And how does that affect us currently with the things that we have?
Huawei is going to also stated that...
are they going to ship US still?
They're still going to ship to US like in a year after they release the OS or something like that.
Yeah, but that's so far out. Like, let's look at the more immediate things. Like, what happens to the pricing of computer chips and things?
It's
still cheaper.
Gaming stuff, all that stuff are going to go up if this traffic law comes.
Dude, I think the answer there is you just go to another, like, Southeast Asia, country. You just go to, like, Korea, or you go to Singapore or Taiwan. Like... It's still cheaper, like, especially if you look at these new minimum wage laws that are going to pass. Dude, it's, whether you believe it's moral or not, it's still cheaper to pay someone, like, in China, they pay people, like, $2 a day to make iPads all day. Like, that's why they can sell 1 million of them. Like, now, whether you believe it's moral or not, that's a different story, and I don't want to get into it. But companies are ruthless. They're cutthroat. Like, it's kill or be killed. only the big dog gets to eat. It's the wonderfulness of capitalism, but it kind of sucks in some of those aspects. And that's why I don't think manufacturing is the future. But, like, we're going to get affected. Because these are infrastructures that are going to have to move. Like, let's just talk things that matter to us. Let's talk cell phones, tablets, laptops, computers, gaming systems, and not all the other stuff, right? All the other, like, regular things that are made, like plastic toys.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention it.
No, yeah, but, like, I want to talk about it a little bit. Because, like, do these companies bite the bullet and keep the prices the same, or do they charge that on us as the consumer?
And if they do decide to not change the price, that means the workers will be suffering. They will be working harder or making less money.
No, because that doesn't affect it. The workers make the same amount of money. The problem is the companies lose money. And what you do at that point, like if I'm Microsoft and I'm making these Xboxes in China and now I get this 25% tariff for anything coming into the States, I just move it to Mexico.
Yeah, but
or I just move it to Singapore
but the
or
entire
Taiwan.
moving thing is gonna transition. It's gonna be a huge amount.
Okay, but
overall,
these are companies, but these are major companies that can afford it. You're correct. It's a multi-million-dollar move.
But there are things that could be like this. Consider like, will the 25% actually be a permanent thing, or could it be temporary?
Or the other thing too is like, can you get around that? Could you have all of the pieces made in China but assembled elsewhere? Because like Oakley's like that. Oakley, they claim to be U.S. made. No, they're assembled in the U.S. There's a difference, right? And I know
that's also a clever workaround.
If that's a workaround where you can still make the things in China, you just have an assembly factory somewhere else. That's different, because then you could just set up an assembly factory in like Mexico.
Yeah,
which is still where it's still cheaper to hire labor in Mexico, and it's a cheaper, like you still have to ship it across the country, like the globe. I'm sorry. Right? But instead of just shipping it from China to the U.S., you would ship from China to Mexico,
or
assemble
China
it
to Japan.
No, it wouldn't be.
Go to US.
It wouldn't be Japan. Japan has a lot of things like that. You got to go to cheap labor places. So it would be China to Taiwan, China to Singapore, China to Korea,
So
maybe Korea. I don't know about
there.
Korea, or Mexico. I think those are the places. I think you go.
No, I think Mexico will be too far.
No, it's closer to the U.S. It doesn't matter shipping. It has to come back to the U.S. eventually.
Yeah.
It's the major market. So it has to leave. Well, not necessarily. Here's what you do. Ready? You just create a home base in Mexico, or you just go to like Hong Kong, which is technically a different country, or you go to Taiwan or Singapore, just like I said, or like you said, and you assemble only the U.S. made consoles over there.
Yeah.
That might be cheaper because the rest of the world doesn't have the tariff. I forget that the U.S. doesn't dictate laws for the whole world.
Yeah, that's laws.
So Europe won't have this, Canada won't have this, Mexico won't have this.
Just ship it elsewhere.
You literally put it on a boat or on a truck, and you go across one of the borders. Like assemble them in Russia. Is it expensive to assemble things in Russia? Who knows? But I think it's an interesting take because like it's kind of like the thing we talked about with Belgium last week.
Yeah, with
right?
Loot boxes.
Where they consider them gambling now. It's like now you're affecting, like I get what you're trying to do here, right? You want more things to come to the U.S. Great. Awesome. Do you, boo-boo. But now you're affecting everything.
You're affecting the consumers, the corporations.
Like, corporations are not going to just bring jobs back. They still want to save money. So they would rather spend millions of dollars to create these facilities in places where there's cheap labor than to bring it back to the States where you have to pay the workers $15 an hour. So it's a whole debacle. Let's not talk about it.
So while we're on the topic of building stuff, let's talk a little bit about
Minecraft. So you showed me this, and I did not read it. You put the link,
yes,
and I did not read it.
Yeah, I ended up
but the title of what you put down, I'm just going to read it. It says Minecraft for language learning. So before you get into it, I just want to talk about a little bit about my time with Microsoft. For those of you who don't know, I'm a huge Microsoft fanboy. I love them. And the reason for it is because I worked for Microsoft for about 3 years. Did a lot of different things with Microsoft. I loved my time at Microsoft. I loved that company to death. They had me drinking the Kool-Aid. I ain't gonna lie. I loved that company. I've got Windows shirts. I've got Intel shirts. It's one of the reasons I love Intel so much is because of when I worked at Microsoft. And so Microsoft, when I was there, had purchased Minecraft.
Yes.
And so I was part of Microsoft when that whole takeover was happening. And at that time, they had a really big focus with Minecraft with learning. And so they wanted to teach kids just learning in general. And what they kind of tried to go for was coding because of the redstone. Because redstone literally has a cause and effect, which is what coding is. If this, then this, right? That's literally what coding is.
Yeah.
If this, then that. Because it's all just...
Or else or stuff like that.
Yeah, kind of things. And that's what they were able... And I was part of those like groups that taught the kids. I was able to be a part of the teams that like taught kids and did these classes. And it was really, really cool. And then you post this announcement. And I kind of want you to explain a little bit. Because how are you going to use Minecraft to teach... Minecraft to teach languages?
I believe it's like already actually being done at... basically, from what I've read, it's like they have a museum in some part of the world. I don't remember where, but it's out like kind of like
Sweden, where I think it might be Sweden because that's where Notch created it.
I don't really recall because there was like so much information. I was going through all the articles and stuff like that, and I ended up on this Minecraft article. Anyways, they have like a museum somewhere. Then essentially in the museum, like you can learn from the stuff there. So they thought like, why not make a virtual museum of it? And then like you could actually use VR to enter the museum and look around. And you could actually
and Minecraft does have VR, and it's nauseating as crap. I've played it. Like your head starts spinning. I threw up when I played it. Like I threw up at work. It was awesome.
Yeah, you can move around and interact with all the objects in the museum. And I'm just thinking, it's like that right there could actually be something developed more. It's like this over here is a pollo, and then a chicken spawns.
That's a great idea. So if that's the case, like again, I think that's awesome, especially because if you can get fundamental parts of the language built in, like just conversational, I think it's a really, really cool idea. Like Minecraft is becoming, whether you love Minecraft or hate it, and I think it's a great...
Minecraft's like available on every platform.
Yeah, it is available on every platform. I think it's a great IP just because of how creative you can be. Like some of these Minecraft builds are awesome.
It's literally like limited by your imagination.
Yeah, and it's just squares, you know. But it's not just that. Like you've also like you're not limited by anything in the IP.
And
there's also mini games that you can play, servers. There's so much that can be done there with Minecraft, and it's like, man, it's just a great game.
And they're coming with augmented reality for Minecraft as well.
Yep.
Where you could go around building stuff in the real world, kind of like Pokemon Go.
Yeah, with HoloLens and different things like that. They've showed it. I got to play around with HoloLens where they kind of showed us. We couldn't do it, but they showed us kind of what it would look like. So you could like go in a table and a Minecraft world would spawn. And you would have Steve and you could control where Steve went. And you could break blocks for Steve. And you could build things for Steve. And it was pretty cool. Just kind of like what it looked like.
Yeah, and it's like with Minecraft, like and this language learning thing, and I believe they went to Microsoft themselves and talked about it, and they're actually like building like something to develop it.
Well, yeah, Microsoft owns it now. Like it's not like they just own the studio. No, like they
own Minecraft. Yeah,
yeah,
and
like
that's why they were talking about it.
Yeah, like it's a Minecraft is one of the more important IPs for.
And you got to think about like
Microsoft.
Today's like attention span. Kids can't keep their attention like on anything. Now, if
anybody can't keep anything.
No attention can be kept in the 21st century.
Dude, we've got the attention span of squirrels. No, yeah. Goldfish has a better attention span. I think their average attention span is half a second.
Yeah, and just think about it. It's like having an interactive like world as a game to learn. Like, I think it's like a huge step.
I agree with you. I think it's a really, really big deal. There's a lot of places where it can go. And there's so much potential for the learning capabilities of Minecraft. It's incredible. I honestly love it. I think it's a really, really cool thing that what we're seeing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a really, really interesting thing where we're gonna see. Man, we've talked about games a lot. Let's hop off of this game.
Yeah. You've heard about Swamp Thing, right?
Oh, I'm so excited. I know that they dropped the trailer. I refuse to watch it.
They just dropped the trailer for
I refuse.
series, and it's coming out Friday.
I refuse to watch any of the trailers. Man, this is the one thing that I'm actually excited about. Like, honestly speaking,
it looks amazing.
This is what's gonna get me to watch Titans. What's the other one that you like? Doom Patrol. That just ended, right?
Yeah,
like this last week. Doom Patrol. And eventually, because they're gonna put Hush up on there, and Hush is my favorite Batman story.
The
comic.
Hush movie coming out. Oh,
we're also getting, isn't it Supreme Leader Superman?
Supreme Leader Superman.
We're getting Evil Superman.
Oh, Injustice.
No, it's not Injustice. Man, I literally just saw the ad for it on Instagram. Whatever. I think it's like a metal Superman face kind of thing where apparently he goes bad, which is. I think we should talk about it.
I think that's already released.
Is it already released? I don't. It might be.
Superman, there's like 4 different Supermans or something like
that. It could be already released, but like I'll catch up when Swamp Thing comes out.
Yeah.
Because Swamp Thing is going to be the thing that's finally going to get me to download the DC Universe app. Because it just looked like, dude, that first little teaser trailer with her laying there and then Swamp Thing appears. It looked so good.
And from the trailer, it does look like a chilling horror to watch.
See, not a big fan of the chilling horror. I like suspense thrillers. Not a big fan of the... I want to see where they go with horror. Like, what do you mean with horror?
I'm not like gore.
I don't
horror.
want jump scares.
Not gore horror. I don't feel like it's jump scare. I just feel like natural terror kind of horror.
I think it's just... So it's a thriller movie.
Yeah, essentially.
Thriller show. That's what I... If it's that, I'm super excited. I want it to be dark, edgy, and super suspenseful.
So well.
Dude, they're so good at dark and edgy. Can we talk about this really quickly? I really, really want to talk about this. We've had this conversation 30 times, privately, but we have to talk Brightburn.
Brightburn. Oh my gosh, we just watched
it
recently.
So we went and we watched Brightburn and Aladdin on the same day, because
they dropped around the same time.
Well, because we wanted to, and because we can, because we have AMC stubs. So let's go watch the movies, right? But Brightburn. For those of you who don't know, Brightburn is a rated R film it's a story about a boy. It's based in Kansas. Let me know if this reminds you of anything. It's a story about 2 parents who desperately want to have a child, and they can't. Oh, they're in Kansas, by the way, if you didn't get that. And they can't, and it sucks for them. Oh, man. And then one fateful night, a spaceship crashes on their farm. And And in this spaceship is a humanoid child. And so they claim it as their own and raise it. And golly us, this kid has superpowers. Remind you of anything? Yeah, it should. It's literally the story of Superman. They just took Superman and made him a bad guy, which is brilliant.
It was fantastic. Just how they showed all of Clark Kent's choices in life taken in a different direction.
Man, literally the breakdown, the plot analysis on IMDb is: what if a child from another world crash landed on Earth, but instead of becoming a hero to mankind, he proved to be something far more sinister? Are you kidding me? You literally said, what if Superman landed but he was a jerk? What if he just wanted to kill people because they were mean to him? Okay, first of all, it is a horror movie.
It is a horror movie, so
it does have gore in it.
It has a lot of gore, so if you're a little squeamish, you might.
So me,
you might want to turn your face during those phases.
I absolutely did. There were a couple death scenes that were pretty gruesome that I can't deal with super gore, just for gore's sake. And I feel like the movie had certain sections of that.
If I were to rate it from 1 to 10, it would probably be around 4.
The gore level?
Yeah, gore level. I'm comparing it to Saw.
Man, well, I've never seen any of the Saw movies in
entirety
just because I just don't think they're good plot movies.
Oh no, the first one I've heard. The first 3 have great plots. Then from there, start going downhill.
Well, I'm not gonna ever watch any of them because I can't handle any of that stuff. But again, okay, let me ask you this question: on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you rate it? Without you looking at IMDb to see what everyone else is rating it.
Oh.
And you can do points, you can do a 5.5 or 2.3.
I love these types of movies, and so my ratings will be biased. But to be honest, whose rating isn't biased? I will have to rate it roughly around like a high 8.5.
So 8.5 is what you're giving it.
Yeah.
So if I had to just rate the movie, I did this on my own, and now, okay, I'm a little spoiled by the IMDb. I'm going to tell you what IMDb did and then what I said.
All right.
IMDb gives it a 6.6.
6.6.
A 6.6. Rotten Tomatoes has it at a 57%, and Metacritic has it at a 45%. So it's not doing very well.
It's not doing well.
I rated it at a 6. Not because it was a bad movie, but because the plot was
copy and paste.
Yeah, it was just unimaginative. Like, you literally just did Man of Steel, but instead of him reacting the good guy way for all of those situations, he reacted the bad guy way.
And that's why I think my rating was so high. I kind of enjoy those alternate reality kind of series.
Dude, I loved the movie. Especially in the end where they have... Let me not talk about it, because maybe people haven't watched it. But like,
I don't think it's that much of a spoiler.
I still don't want to spoiler anything. It's brand new. Let's let people watch it. Again, my thing is... I had such high hopes for it because of the writers, because of the Gunn brothers, right? And we know, I think it's Mark Gunn, is really, really well known for doing the... I think it's Mark Gunn, is very, very popular for doing the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Never mind, this is not the right one. Well, one of the Gunn brothers is very, very popular for doing the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. And so, like, a lot of people that worked on Guardians of the Galaxy was in this. Like, the director was the guy who did Guardians of the Galaxy. One of the writers, they're related to the guy that did Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's like one of those things where it's just like, I had a lot of hope for this film. I just kind of went in and it was mediocre, man. It wasn't super great, personally. I'd totally recommend watching it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
even with all of this...
If you're a comic book fan, you like the DC universe, you should just watch it just to see the different spin on Superman.
And then try to come up with how they're not getting sued by DC. Because it's literally just Superman. It's
copy and paste.
Like, literally just Superman. And I love the twist with Brightburn and how they came up with the name. I think that's really, really cool when you watch it in the end. But it's just one of those things where it's just like, dude, they literally just copied and pasted it. Speaking of copying and pasting it, Aladdin, the new movie.
Oh, Aladdin, yes.
What did you think?
I found it more enjoyable than I thought I would.
Okay, without looking at it, what are you rating it? No. What is IMDb, Metacritic, and Rotten Tomatoes rating it? What's your guess? Where do you think they're at? And then what's your rating? Or what's your rating, and then what's your guess what they have?
Okay, my rating is a 7.
Okay.
I assume they will be rating around 5 or 6.
For IMDb, and remember, Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes do percentages.
Percentage.
So just give one percentage for the both.
Like 60.
60? You're really close. IMDb gives it a 7.2, Metacritic a 54, and Rotten Tomatoes a 58. I agree. I think that
there were things
I think the casting was done well. I went in expecting Will Smith as Genie to not be good.
I know.
Because the trailers do such a bad job at portraying it.
And I think that was intentional. I
don't know if it was intentional.
I feel like they wanted you to think like, oh, Will Smith's going to be bad in this movie. He's not going to do justice to Robin Williams.
Dude, why would you intentionally say this guy's not going to do justice to the guy who did it the first time?
I think they want... I think they wanted like to bring that like expectation low, just to like completely throw the ball over your head.
Absolutely not. That's not Disney's way. They want to blow you away with the trailer and then blow you away when you come see the movie. And I think that's what they tried to do, and they just failed.
No,
my thing is,
you have to think about the Prince Ali Alibaba.
Ababwa.
Alibaba.
The song, like, again, that's one of the things that I have beef with.
They released the Twitter version. Have you watched the Twitter version? Yeah.
Where
Essentially, it just shows Will Smith walking in, like, pointing left and pointing right. And I essentially thought, like, where's the teleportation? Where's the transformation? And it was, like, a huge letdown.
But again, like, look, I just think the thing with the movie is, if you did a shot-for-shot, line-for-line,
remake,
song-for-song remake of this of Aladdin, and I get it, if you want to add a couple of new songs, do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which they did.
And they were great songs.
Yes.
I think they were great songs. I think it's a great soundtrack. I know that Madi already has it downloaded on our Spotify. But that being said, the original is like the songs are still better on the original.
Yes,
the only one that compares is A Whole New World because they literally sang the exact song.
Thing.
It was the exact same song.
Me and my sister were literally singing it in the theaters.
Well, I was
and the
too.
girl next to us was singing it with us.
Yeah, like again, I was too. Like, but the thing is like, I know Aladdin is probably my number 1 or number 2 favorite Disney movie, like
right
of all
Lion
time.
King.
It's tied with Lion King for me. So I know the words to every single Aladdin song, and I'm not ashamed of it. I know the girl parts too. It's great. But that being said, like when I want to sing along, like why did they do Prince Ali so slow? Dude, it's so slow. It's like Prince Ali, mighty is he, and it's just like no, like it's faster.
I feel like they want to do like a hip hop like kind of.
I get it.
No, but
I understand you want to go Fresh Prince because you've got the Fresh Prince.
The one thing I hated was the market one step ahead of the.
Dude, I hated all of them. Like it got me so mad.
Oh my gosh.
Even the You've Never Had a Friend Like Me. It was a great showmanship. It was great showmanship, but the song was still wrong.
Yeah.
Like I understand you want to have dancing in it, like, and you should. Absolutely, you should. In a movie like that, you gotta have dancing moments in it. Like this is a musical. You gotta do you gotta High School Music it up.
High School Musical, yeah.
But dude, just add some interludes in the songs that already exist. Don't ruin.
Something that's not broken.
Exactly, and push away, not closer. But it's it's one of those things where I think they casted it really well. I enjoyed the crap out of the movie. I would watch it again, but
it was very enjoyable.
But that being said, I agree with kind of what they said. I think IMDb has it a little high at 7.4. I agree more with Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. I think it's more in that 50-60 range than it is that 70-80 range. Dude, they have it as 7.4. Like, that's pretty highly rated.
But I feel like the IMDb ratings are essentially based off what the... what do you say? The public thinks of it.
But so is Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, Rotten Tomatoes are more centered towards critics.
No, but Rotten Tomatoes has the score for the critics.
They have a critic score,
and the one that I was talking about is the public score.
Public score, really?
Yeah, and so it's just like, dude, like if you want to do a movie like this, you have to do it like Beauty and the Beast. Shot for shot remake.
Shot with all the
song for song.
Similar.
Okay, well, maybe it's not shot for shot, but it's line for line.
Line for line, yes.
Because you can't do a shot for shot remake with some of those things because
there were some changes with the prince.
Not just that, but like the whole thing is like the animation in the original movie is a little bit crazy. Like you can't have some of that stuff going on. I also haven't seen Beauty and the Beast. Didn't really care, but that was
such a great movie.
But that being said, it's still like, dude, just do a shot-for-shot remake. That's why I'm so scared about Lion King. I'm so like I've said it a million times.
I feel like the Lion King's actually gonna be a shot-for-shot, song-for-song remake.
I don't know, man.
Because it's completely CGI.
I don't know. I'm super scared.
I don't think it's completely. Is it completely?
Completely CGI.
It's completely CGI. They have no reason to alter anything.
Dude, I'm super scared. Like I don't ruin Lion King.
I feel like it's gonna.
Don't ruin Lion King.
I feel like it's gonna be like if it does well. I feel like it could actually catch up to Avengers in the box office.
I don't think so. Dude, Avengers hasn't even caught Avatar yet.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay, they're $100,000 off. Like, go watch Avengers before it's gone. Please, we need a new number one movie.
But I feel like we still have like 3 more months before it actually gets out of them.
Absolutely not. We've got like another 2 weeks at the tops.
No.
Dude, movies don't stay in theaters that long anymore.
Yes.
Especially Disney movies.
All the Marvel movies have at least stayed for 4 months. It's only been 2 months.
I don't know if they stay that long. Dude, how many movies are coming out?
20 weeks. How much is 20 weeks?
I don't know. 4, 8.
22 weeks or...
That's 5 months.
There we go.
Dude, there's no way they stay that long.
Yes, I checked it. I confirmed.
That's how long they're staying is 20 weeks confirmed?
22 weeks are all the Marvel movies been in the theaters. Or at least the later one.
So I think this is week 9. I think this is week 9.
When did Captain Marvel come out?
I have no idea.
It's still in the theaters.
No, but it's certain indie theaters. That doesn't count.
But it's still in the theaters.
No, dude, but that's indie
which means
theaters
it
doesn't
can
count.
still make money towards the box office.
Dude, I don't care if West Orange 5 has it. They're not West Orange 5 is not affecting Avengers revenue numbers. Like, dude, they can have
but $1 here and there across the nation will affect it.
John, dude, like let's say 100 theaters keep it for longer than that. Like, they're not affecting that number, like, even in the slightest. They're not even adding $10,000.
100,000 is nothing compared to how much they already made.
I agree, dude. I think they'll beat it. Dude, they're so freaking.
They
close.
are number 2 domestically and number 2 worldwide. They need to catch up to Star Wars.
I don't think they catch Star Wars, and I think Star Wars is the new Star Wars, the Skywalker saga. I think that passes Avengers Endgame domestically. I don't know if it passes it like internationally.
No, probably internationally.
I mean worldwide. I'm sorry.
Worldwide won't. But it might actually do it domestically.
It'll destroy it domestically. I predict
it
1 billion
Star
plus
in the Darth Vader trilogy.
in the Skywalker saga.
Skywalker saga. That's what
it's the last one in that saga.
So
but
I feel it's kind of like an Avenger Endgame for Star Wars.
Yeah, it is. It's an Endgame for Star Wars, and that's the thing is we're gonna have, dude. So we have yet to have a movie domestically pass $1 billion. Star Wars was close. They were at $960 million. I think that was the number. It's $900 and something million. But that being said, I think the new Star Wars does it. I think it does it. I think they beat it.
It will be quite something if they hit the $1 billion.
I think they beat it. Let me look at it right now. Domestically, I have it pulled up. They have, oh man. Why can't I click on this thing? They have $936 million. I think they pass it. I think the new Star Wars passes it. I think they hit $1 billion. I think they hit $1 billion plus. And I think that'll be a huge achievement for film. First movie to domestically in the U.S. beat $1 billion. It'd be huge. Huge.
I feel like people will just watch it again just because they hit their $1 billion.
No, I think
it will become big,
I know for a fact news. I'm watching it in theaters at least double-digit times. It's Star Wars. It's my favorite movie.
936,000 for Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Million.
936 million. My bad. Sorry.
936,000 is probably the budget. Not even. It's probably like backup characters like salary.
How long was it even in theaters? Let's see.
Doesn't matter. Like that's unimportant information. I know you're excited about this, but It Chapter 2, they just dropped the trailer.
Yes, the trailer looked fantastic.
Did the original It have a second movie?
Yes, I believe so.
And so is this just a continuation, like kind of like is it just a remake of 2?
I think
is it a new story?
I think it's essentially kind of like the books.
I don't know anything. This is a Stephen King novel, right?
Yeah, Stephen King novel.
Did you hear about the new Stephen King novel that's becoming a movie?
No.
NO4SA something. Apparently, it's horrifying. Like
I'm probably gonna watch because I love Stephen King's horror stuff.
But apparently, it's truly death-defyingly horrifying to the point that Stephen King has come out and said himself that this is the movie he truly believes in, like that will make you crap your pants. Apparently it's horrible.
Everywhere in the
and by horrible I mean like horrifying, not bad.
Yeah. Stephen King is everywhere in the movies with Pet Sematary, Dark Tower that came out a few years ago.
Dude, all of his movies all of his books become.
Dark Tower is actually I don't know, something Tower. Anyways, the Tower book is getting TV adaptation.
Dude,
and
if you're ever in doubt and you want to write your first thing, just take a Stephen King novel, read it through and through, and make an adaptation for it. Someone will buy it.
It's like if you're gonna write a horror, read Stephen King stuff.
It's not just that, dude. Literally take one of his books, adapt it to a film script, pitch it to any producer, and you'll make millions. Like, it's not that hard, especially if you can get Stephen King to sign off on it. Like, it's not that hard, like at all. Speaking of things that I don't think are that impressive, because I think Stephen King is impressive. I don't know if the new It is going to be that impressive. I heard this new horror thing is going to be pretty impressive. Jessica Jones finale, we're getting that soon.
Yeah, June 14th.
Season 3, 4?
Season 3, they're going to be the last Marvel thing on the Netflix.
Yeah, so Season 3, It's exciting. It's the last one.
It kinda
Hopefully it wraps it
like
up.
A horror thriller.
Well, that's what Jessica Jones has always kind of been.
Yeah.
So that's kind of exciting. I think that's pretty cool.
Jessica Jones is always my favorite of the Marvel Netflix series.
Really?
Yeah.
Daredevil was mine.
I really enjoyed Jessica Jones the most.
I think Jessica Jones' first season was really good. Season 2, I had a really hard time getting through.
Season 2 was a little bit draggy, but
like
it was.
I didn't feel like they had a compelling enough of a story. Like I didn't care about Jessica Jones.
But I feel like season 3 is gonna do justice.
Yeah, I don't know.
Since it is the last Marvel thing,
I don't know.
I think they want to reap, before they leave.
I think Daredevil was the best one that they have, but again, we'll see. I think it's very interesting to see it. I have to catch up on all that stuff. Like I haven't seen season 2 of Luke Cage.
Luke Cage is something I need to watch. I haven't even watched season 1.
Well,
that's
pretty
the
good.
only
Season
one I
1.
haven't watched.
Season 1's pretty good. If you watched
Mainly
Iron Fist and you haven't watched Luke Cage, you've made a mistake. Alien prequel in development. We've already got pictures and stuff of it, which is pretty cool. That's pretty exciting to keep on it, keep on top of it. Dude, it's just another Alien movie. And don't we have another Predator movie coming out too?
I think so. It's like a Predator prequel.
Oh, and then we have Terminator 6. I was like, come up with something new. Like the only movies that should keep going are the John Wick movies. Keep those going forever. Especially with John Wick 3. I love John Wick, man. We just rewatched John Wick 1 and 2.
I only watched 1. I haven't watched 2 or 3.
2 is so good. Like it's one of the it's bad, but it's great. Because it's just like so much action and it's so ridiculous. And if you know anything about firearms, you're watching that and you're like, this is ridiculous, but I love every second of it. And then last night I watched The Matrix again just to watch more Keanu Reeves because I love Keanu.
It's a great movie.
But it's just like, and I love the story behind The Matrix.
I kind of miss like movies going for the story. I feel like they're aiming more for CGI than newer movies.
It's not that. Like CGI gives you capabilities of storytelling that you didn't have before.
Yeah, so I feel like they're too reliant on it.
What do you expect?
Yeah,
those old movies they didn't have. Like Matrix is not a visually good movie.
Compared to the Jurassic from 19 whatever.
Well, that's just bad story writing.
World.
That's just bad story writing.
I'm just talking about the CGI in general. It's like,
well, that wasn't CGI. That was actual puppets that were made.
Like if you compared, like there were some CGI in the
for like the
T-Rex like if you compare the two CGIs, you could actually see like a huge difference. I feel like the 1980 version did it so much better.
False.
Look at the two. Just look at the two different.
I agree. Jurassic World is much better visually. Like, dude, like that's not the argument. Like, there's nothing you can say to convince anyone. ILM did a beautiful job in the original Jurassic movies. I'm not gonna take that away from them. Like, they did incredible. I love ILM. I hope to one day work for ILM. They're incredible with what they do. That's not what I'm arguing here. And I don't think that's what you're arguing. I think you're trying to argue something like a point that you don't believe in, because I think what you're trying to say is storytelling has gotten to the back burner, and I agree, because now things are just visually appealing.
Yes.
Which I agree. Storytelling needs to get better.
Yes.
Storytelling in the past had to take precedent because things did not look good.
And you know which
but now that things look good, storytelling doesn't have to be so important. Go.
What really has a good story is Legend of Zelda. If that gets adapted to a movie, I can see.
I'm so terrified. We've already got the TV show for Netflix. I'm terrified.
I feel like it will be such amazing.
I'm terrified.
I haven't played any of the games, but I know there's so much lore with the Zelda universe.
Dude, they have a timeline.
And that's what like completely scares me from the Zelda universe. There's so much in it.
It's not just that. Like, so for you, like someone outside looking in, each story falls in a timeline. That's the thing. Each story leads up to a different story. There are a couple hundred years between the games. Sometimes it's a couple of days between the games. Like you literally end one game and you start the next game. But the thing is like there are timelines in The Legend of Zelda. So these games that get made, they fall in this timeline. And so like Breath of the Wild is the farthest game in the timeline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So here's where the timeline is normally. Breath of the Wild is all the way out here. So it's the farthest point, and supposedly all of the timelines merge into Breath of the Wild. Allegedly. That's the prediction. We don't know yet. But that's the thing. But my thing is you're right. Every single Legend of Zelda, there are a couple of ones that haven't been great, but they're all good stories. They're incredible. They're compelling.
And can you imagine the story with the CGI in the big theater.
I'm
You
terrified.
just have to cast the
terrified.
right cast and the right script writers.
Terrified.
It'll be a terrifying experience, but
John, imagine a Halo movie. You gonna be excited for that?
They've already released Halo.
No, they've released Halo series.
Halo series.
And that's different. You can do a Halo series because those are all stories that we already know about.
A Halo movie, that would be
whole brand new story. Like
that would be like
like you'd be excited, but you'd also be terrified.
Yes,
Don't ruin Halo.
Yes, kind of like
like what's a perfect?
Kind of like Assassin's Creed.
No, I think Assassin's Creed was a good It was an adaptation. That's different. That was never gonna be good. You have to look at a perfect IP. Like, here's a perfect example: Super Mario. Super Mario has never had a bad game, in my opinion.
Yeah, but the movie was
but the movie's horrible.
Pretty interesting.
The movie's horrible because you take something that's perfect and then you try to replicate it and you can't do it well. Mario is a perfect IP. Every game has a new thing. Every game is accepted widely. Like, they're perfect in the same way that I think the Legend of Zelda games are perfect. In the same way that I don't think this Pokemon movie was good. The Pokemon games.
Yeah, but you had to give it to them. They were limited because they could only use Detective Pikachu stuff, so they can actually like really go into the I want to be a trainer and stuff like that.
They chose that.
No, that's what they were given.
Yeah, but like you come up like Nintendo didn't go to a company and say you can only make a movie using Detective Pikachu. That's not what happened. Somebody made Nintendo a pitch to make a Detective Pikachu movie. They chose that. There's a difference. It's like the Matrix movies. I love this story about the Matrix movies. I can't pronounce their last name, but there's two brothers that wrote the Matrix movies, right?
Yeah.
They wrote a trilogy, and they went to Warner Brothers and they pitched them the trilogy, 3 movies.
I think you told me this.
I have, but I haven't told them this. I love this story. I'll probably tell it a million times. So they pitched a trilogy. They said, we love it. Make it 1 movie. We're only giving you 1 movie. So then the brothers went back and they were like, crap. We've got to turn 3 movies into 1. So they cut it down and they stripped it down and they cut it and they gutted it and then they made 1 movie. And then they pitched it again. And Warner Brothers was like, awesome. Let's make it. And Keanu Reeves, being brilliant, instead of taking a salary in the movie, I think he signed a contract where he gets a percentage of the revenue of the movie so that they didn't have to pay him as much because Keanu Reeves was expensive at the time. That was a brilliant move because what happens?
It blows up.
Matrix drops and boom, it explodes. Everyone loves that movie. What does Warner Brothers do? Goes back to the 2 brothers and says, hey, those other 2 movies, we want to make them now. And then they were like, that was it. That was all 3 movies.
That was all 3 movies composed into 1.
That was all of them. He's like, and then Warner Brothers said, well, sucks to suck. Make 2 more movies. We want money. And that's why Matrix 2 and Matrix 3 exist. But I think that's a great story.
Yeah.
Just because it goes like, dude, like, just take a chance on some things. Like, I think it's really hard to pitch nowadays a trilogy.
It is. It's like this.
Even though I think that's
so much people wanting to be script writers who wants to go into the movie biz, but
it's
so much.
It's hard to make one-hit wonders.
There's like so much it's hard to find a diamond in the rough. I went a lot in there.
I know. I got it. I see what you did. But it's not about finding a diamond in the rough. I think the problem is it's hard to write a one-hit wonder that can keep going. Like Brightburn. Brightburn's a one-hit wonder. I think they should not make a second one. I think it's great.
It has potential to be
You could potentially do it, and then like if you want to suffer the wrath of the lawsuit.
Will it be good?
Well, no, the first one wasn't. The first one was mediocre. Like Brightburn was okay.
Enjoyable.
Like it was okay.
It was an amazing movie. It was enjoyable.
Exactly. They just dropped the cast for Mulan, which I think is pretty interesting. I think they casted it very well.
A lot of well-known actors.
And then a lot of actors that we don't really know a lot about. So I think it's pretty cool. I think that's really interesting. I
feel like it's like a well-stacked.
It is. I think it's a stacked movie, cast list.
I feel like people will enjoy it.
I don't believe it. Disney has yet to show me a remake.
Jackie Chan in it.
I don't care.
I love Jackie Chan.
Yeah, but he's gonna have to live up to hype of Eddie Murphy.
He's my second or third favorite character.
Character or actor?
Actor. I don't know why I said character. I'm an actor. He's my second or third.
Dude, but Jackie Chan just plays Jackie
Chan in what's his name?
I don't know.
Not Murphy.
Chris Tucker?
No, Sonic. Dr. Eggman.
Oh, Jim Carrey.
Carrey. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot Jim Carrey's name.
No, but in the same way that Will Smith had to live up to the hype of Robin Williams.
Yes.
Are you going to live up? Jackie Chan is going to live up
Murphy.
to the hype of Eddie Murphy. Come, Mushu was perfect.
Mushu was perfect.
Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. Like that's
it was perfect.
That's my favorite line. I still yell that at Madi when I'm upset at her. Dishonor on you, dishonor on your family, dishonor on your cow. Like that's such like he did it perfectly, and Jackie Chan has to live up to that hype. Okay, great. He's going to be animated. But you still have to live up to that hype.
Yeah, the voice acting is
good luck.
It's like completely different like stage.
Good luck. Well, no, because Eddie Murphy had to do voice acting as well.
Yeah.
But it's just like, dude, like, good luck. Good luck living to that hype. Like, what are you going to do there? Like, it's going to be complicated for you to do and live up to that hype. And I think we've been going for quite some time. I want to end with this last thing. Well, it's 1A, 1B. One leads into the other.
Yes.
I'm not a fan, personally, of Stranger Things. I've never seen a single episode of Stranger Things. But we're getting season 3.
July 4th of July. Fireworks, guys.
We're getting season 3. And there's this big promotional push for season 3.
Oh, let me do it. Here's a little hint if you guys want to guess. It takes place in 1983 season 3.
Okay, you're
85.
never gonna guess because I didn't even know this thing existed. We went back and forth for like a couple minutes because I thought he was talking about something different, and we like legitimately I had an argument with you. So, here's the story.
All right.
In 1985, Pepsi was kind of the dominating beverage in the world.
In the cola, yes.
Right? In that cola world because it's sweeter. Personally, I prefer Coke, but it was sweeter. So what Coca-Cola did is they came out with New Coke, where essentially they transitioned from the Mexican sugar Coca-Cola into corn syrup, and they changed the recipe. It was the first time they had ever done that.
And the thing is that they did lots and lots of tests before they released it. They wanted to perfect it to make it better than like Pepsi in general. They had lots of blind taste tests with the original Coke recipe, the New Coke, and Pepsi, and more people chose the New Coke recipe. Like it was dominating.
Yeah, it was a dominant factor in those blind taste tests, which is awesome. But they released it, and everyone was like, "Okay, this is great, but where's old Coke?"
And the thing that made like New Coke flop was how they released New Coke. They essentially said, "We are stopping the old Coke. We are not going to
out of nowhere.
And here's the new recipe. Deal with it." That's essentially what they did.
Like you have to phase it out or just sell both. Like you couldn't just sell both. So essentially it flopped. The whole public got enraged because of it. So then they went back to the old recipe. But instead of going back to sugar, where there's the
cane sugar, which is a bit more expensive,
they stuck with corn syrup, and that's the Coke that we've had for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
Right? It's been a long time. We've had this Coke for a long, long time. So what we've decided to do, because in honor of Stranger Things,
Coke partnered up with Stranger Things and released a promotional that you can buy in Coke.com-1985.
You can buy new versions of the old New Coke.
Yeah, exactly.
Try to say that one. New versions of old New Coke.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's difficult to say.
Well, you could buy it for like $20. You get 2 cans of the New Coke, a Coke, and a Coke Zero, I believe.
You get a whole bunch of whatever. So what we've decided to do, we thought it'd be really interesting, is to kind of try to replicate what it would be like to be in one of those blind taste tests back in the 1980s.
But we wanted to implement it with more...
Well, because now Coke has a bigger lineup.
Exactly. They have a bigger lineup. We wanted to increase the lineup.
So what we're going to do, and we're going to have to wait because the shipping time on this is going to take some time, so it's going to take a couple weeks.
Or something like that.
What we're going to do is we're going to do a blind taste test of all of the Cokes, and we're going to, rank them, right? Rank them in order of what we like.
Guess what they are.
And just kind of find out what's the best Coke out there. So we're going to have a blind taste test. We're doing Coke, Mexican Coke, New Coke,
Pepsi, Coke
Pepsi,
Life,
Coke Life,
and
Coke Zero,
and the Pepsi version of Coke Life. What is it?
Pepsi
Forever,
Pepsi, something like that. We might. I don't know if we do that. I think we should just do all of the Cokes and then Pepsi.
Just as the hidden factor.
Yeah, just to see.
Just to replicate the test factor.
I think I can guess. I think I'll know exactly which one is which.
I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be a hard way to decide Pepsi from Pepsi from the new Coke recipe.
I don't think so.
Because they're similar. They're both sweet, and you never.
You've never had the new Coke.
You in general never drink Pepsi.
Well, I do. It's at my work. That's the soda at my work. I drink Pepsi almost every day. See, I prefer Coke.
Me, I never drink Pepsi. So I'm going blind because I've never had both of them. I've had Pepsi.
I've never had the new Coke. Dude, I just think there's such distinct flavors, I'll be able to catch it. I think Coke Zero is so different from Coke. I've never had Coke Life, and I won't have it until we get there. But I'm excited to do this. I wanted to see how we rank it and how we figure it out and kind of how we get it going and what kind of scores we give it and what we think is the best.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited. Just some cool, new, different content on there. Another thing that we're going to be doing, expect shortly, is we talked about it, is Critics Corner. We're going to be doing a Critics Corner for Aladdin. So expect that soon. I think. We might do a Critics Corner for Aladdin. We'll see. We'll see if we can set up the set to where it makes sense for us.
Because honestly, it's getting more difficult than we thought it was.
It is. Not that it's more difficult than we thought it was. It's easy. It's just that it's a production.
It's a huge mess with our schedules. Teal got a new job, so it's kind of
we literally work opposite schedules.
So it's kind of hard to get together and actually do it.
Yeah, so we're working on it. We haven't forgot about the Game of Thrones episode. We're going to get that done.
We couldn't do it because there's so much factors to affect it.
Schedules. So we're going to get that done. We do want to get it done. It's looking like it's just going to be me and him, me and you doing it. We're going to try to see if we can fit Marty's schedule into it, but if we can't, it's just going to be us. So that'll come out soon.
And before we leave the Stranger Things thing, do you know they were releasing a new comic based Stranger Things 6? It's a prequel of the Stranger Things series, where instead of 11, it's going to be about 6. Because 11 is the girl with the superpowers. And
I didn't know that there was a girl with superpowers.
Yeah, essentially that's what...
that's the whole story? There's a girl with superpowers?
Yes, that's essentially...
Isn't she good at arcade games? I don't know.
I don't think so. I'm thinking you're thinking about... they play Dungeons & Dragons. I'm thinking you're thinking about the other Netflix animated series.
It's not an animated series. I'm almost positive it's Stranger Things. Because it's the kid with the no tongues. Aren't they addicted to Dig Dug?
Whatever.
Man, I don't know.
Anyways,
I don't watch Stranger Things.
If you're a Stranger Things fan, you're definitely going to probably enjoy this new comic series releasing, Stranger Things 6.
Yeah, so go check it out. Let us know what you guys think we should talk about next, if there's anything that you want us to focus on. If there's anything that you wanted to do. Also, let us know what you guys thought in the comment section below. We'd love to get you guys involved and kind of just get your opinions on things. And so let us know. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. All of the other good things. My name's Tigo.
My name's John.
Bye.